So, hi, everybody. You might be familiar with this background since we've been in this background through COVID together in some of our courses. Welcome to my office. Welcome to my home in South Onondaga. And thank you. Thank you so much for taking the course. Thank you for being interested in the idea of leadership, too, because really, you can cultivate your leadership in all sorts of ways. And what I'm hoping to do in this course is to encourage you and to provide you the means to really explore your leadership and to see what kind of leader you are, as well as specifically focusing on issues at the school where you work. So, one of the things that I want to talk about in some detail right now, also as a way of providing you a frame for this particular course, is about your final project that you're going to be responsible for completing in week 15 of the course. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be with you, not only because leadership is something that I find particularly engaging to talk about and engaging to learn about, but also because I recognize that this particular group of students is an exceptional group of students. I've worked with you all in the past, and I really look forward to working with you in this course, as well as EDU 540 teaching learning in the spring. So my advice to you about this course is to stay curious. Keep asking questions. Keep probing things as you're developing your work for the course and as you're developing this final project. Ask questions to try to understand your experience, because much of what you'll be doing in the course, in addition to looking at research, having conversations with each other, and having conversations with me about the course material, is you will be developing your leadership capacity within the school. So I'm thinking that all of you have found employment or can find employment at a local school where you are. Could be as a teacher, could be as a substitute teacher, could be as a teaching assistant or a teacher's aide. It could be in any number of capacities. And if you're not working in a school currently, find a school where you can get some of this access, because you'll need to work in classrooms. You'll need to observe classrooms, as we'll see in a minute. You'll need to work directly with a teacher to practice the skills of coaching and be thinking about developing your skills in problem solving, action research, and professional learning so that you can create a project, essentially a pilot project, that will help showcase how you have developed the kinds of skills and the kinds of knowledge that this course is all about. So immerse yourself in the experiences that are described for this particular final project. All of the different skills, all of the different modules that you'll be taking week to week are designed specifically to build into the final project that I'm about to describe. So you'll want to practice those skills. You'll want to see how you're successful at them. You want to practice, and you'll also want to reflect on your success, what kinds of things you might change, and what sorts of learning you're developing as you go along in the course. So let me share with you a little bit of an outline about that final project, and hopefully that will put the project as well as the course in some context for you. So the purposes of the final project. First of all, a big part of this course is application. Applying what you learn in the course, what we talk about, and what we practice in our synchronous and asynchronous sessions into a professional circumstance. So again, you're going to be applying that learning in one of these capacities. You're going to be thinking as a literacy specialist, but having access to the school is going to be very important because that application of learning in a real life situation is one of the fundamental premises of how this course works and works well. Second, the purpose of the final project is to have you get that practice, but also reflect on your use of leadership skills and the various aspects of becoming a leader that we're developing in the course as we go along. Those are many of those topic areas that I talked about in the syllabus review. So at your school, you will need to do the following. You'll have to have access to meetings, faculty meeting, Board of Education meeting, team meetings that you might be involved in as a teacher or a substitute teacher going forward, access to classrooms, observing how teaching is going on at your school, what sorts of techniques and strategies teachers are using, most specifically in terms of reading, writing, speaking, and listening at your school. So you'll have to observe classrooms. You'll also have to find a teacher to coach. This could be a teacher with whom you've worked or whom you're working with presently. If it's a school that you've come back to, for example, after your graduation as an undergraduate from CUCA, find a teacher who would be willing to go through the process of coaching. And I'll provide you specific instructions, and you'll be able to practice these skills like the skill of coaching in the course before you go and coach the teacher. Observe the literacy program and be thinking about evidence-based practices that you might be able to apply in your circumstance. You'll also need to have access to and utilize things like the school and district websites, various artifacts, so school publications, meeting agendas, meeting notes, many of which you can find on the school district website, and district and school report cards that are available through the New York State Education Department website. Fundamentally, ask to participate. Say, I'm taking a course in leadership. These are the things that I need to do. How can I gain access through the school and with other professionals to be able to fulfill the requirements of the course and to help me test my skills, see how they work, and reflect on them? So the basic summary that I've essentially drawn from the syllabus of the final project is as follows. You'll be providing a presentation in week 15. And in that presentation, you'll be including your organizational analysis, which we'll talk about in more detail during week 2. You'll be observing classrooms and observing meetings, as well as coaching teaching and teachers. And we'll talk about that in the weeks that follow. You'll be looking at professional development and professional learning, which is also part of the syllabus. So when we get there, you'll want to pay attention to how to design and develop a project and what sorts of things make for good organizational and professional learning on the part of your school or your school district. You're going to develop a pilot project. You don't necessarily have to implement the pilot project, but you will have to, in this final project, based on your observations, based on your organizational analysis, develop a plan, a project plan for what professional development and professional learning in your school will look like around a particular literacy issue, a problem that you've seen and identified, and that you're going to be solving with a team that you'll be leading. So designing that team and developing that pilot project will also be part of your final project responsibilities. Finally, in that presentation, talk about your personal contribution to the plan. So what sorts of skills do you bring? What kinds of leadership characteristics do you have in your profile, and have you been able to see and understand from the course that you can apply to this particular issue or problem and to the program that you're going to develop for your school that will improve literacy instruction? Talk about ultimately what you've learned from the project. What's happened for you? How have you changed? And how have you evolved on that journey to becoming a leader? Ultimately, you're going to develop a portrait, a picture of your school and your district, focused on how and where it either aligns or doesn't align with its own mission, vision, and values. What's the impact of the misalignment or the alignment that you're seeing and you're analyzing from your organizational perspective in regards to a literacy program? So how well is your school teaching students to read, write, listen, and speak? And if you see gaps in that, analyze those gaps, think about them a little bit, develop them in the project, develop them in your organizational analysis paper, and create some means of solving that issue or solving that problem based on that alignment, that misalignment, and the kinds of things that you've observed overall through your observations, through your coaching experience, and through the different artifacts that you're also going to be considering. Every single one of the assignments that you're going to be involved in prior to the final project are going to feed into that final project. So your organizational analysis, your coaching experience, the reflective reports that you're going to be creating about meetings, about research into literacy, about your classroom observations and what you're seeing and experiencing in terms of the overall professional development at your school and district. We're going to be walking through all of that step by step as we go week to week. And all of those different components are going to eventually be part of your final project. So everything that you're working on is designed in a step-by-step process throughout the syllabus, throughout the experiences that you're going to have in this course, to be able to complete that final project and develop a professional development plan based on what you're viewing and what you're understanding about your organization as a whole and as your organization in those specific teaching and classroom details that you're able to pick up as you're present in the school, working with teachers, working with students. We're going to take the Bean and Goatley text. You're going to be able to use those ideas. We're going to take a look much more focused fashion too on the experience of Ernest Shackleton in the Antarctic, because there you'll be able to read, think about, and place yourself into what Shackleton discovered, what Shackleton did, what he accomplished, and how you can fit into the sort of leadership framework that he was able to establish and that's been established with his experiences in the Antarctic and bringing 27 men to safety in an over 2-year challenge that he and the other men went through in the Antarctic. So hopefully you're going to enjoy that text. Hopefully the Bean and Goatley text will also give you some vocabulary, some ways of talking further about this final project and describing your experiences. So by looking in depth at the school, its structure, applying the skills of leadership to the situation, you're going to create a package of all that you've learned and all the many ways that you've developed in this particular course. If you have questions, let me know. Please drop those questions into the Ask Instructor discussion board when you have them. I'm sure that other people are going to have the same sorts of questions, and I'll do my best to guide you along in the process and make this experience fun. It's all about application. Everything that you're going to be learning in this course, you're going to see how it works in reality and in real life. So that's the upshot of the final project. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the course. I'm really looking forward to working with each of you. I'm really also very much looking forward to learning from you. So please ask questions, make comments, change directions, help me understand too how to teach you in the best way possible and how to work with you and develop your skills and your leadership potential in the best way possible. Welcome to EDU 537. You'll see me again in other mini lessons, and enjoy week 1. Think hard, engage with one another, and build that portfolio of leadership skills and understandings that are going to carry you forward as a literacy specialist. Thanks a lot for listening. I appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.